Hi, this is Gabe Belanger once again. I'm going through Trend Micro Internet Security. I've already covered Overview, this section. I've covered virus and spyware controls, and now I'm on to personal firewall controls. Now, Windows does have a firewall built into it, and a lot of times that's what I recommend you use. However, if you would like to use the Trend Micro personal firewall, just remember, if you tune it too high, it may block things you actually want to do. But the way firewalls work in general is that when you make a request out to the internet, if you say, okay, go to yahoo.com or go to computergeeksoncall.ca, when you make a request out, it opens up ports to go out. And whatever comes back from yahoo.com, you're allowing to come back into your computer through the firewall. So there are ways to train firewalls to block these things, but then it gets quite complicated. So the way I look at it is this. If you think something is screwing up something you're trying to do on your computer, you can turn this personal firewall off, close Trend Micro just by hitting the X, and then try that item once again. If you're playing computer games, for example, that run across the internet, firewalls may block these items. So let's put the personal firewall back on. Pretty easy. Let's go now to the settings section. I'm not going to go too deep into this. It's very complicated. So if we go into the settings, you can see that Trend Micro was smart enough to set these different levels. Now if we go to maximum, it says it blocks all network protocols, program, blah blah blah, except apart from exceptions that you specify. So if we go to advanced settings, we see here that we have program control. We can choose to allow certain programs, and here are some of the programs that are allowed. We can also go to the network protocol control, and we can choose which protocols we allow in and out. If we were to click add, for example, we can say new network connection rule, incoming or outgoing, allow over TCP/IP, or these different protocols, on which ports. Let's say we're choosing port 64,000, on all IP addresses, etc., etc. So what this does is it pokes a hole in the firewall to allow certain things through. So you're opening these items in the firewall because you're playing a network game or a 3D computer internet game that requires these ports be open. So let's click cancel there. So you do need to do that sometimes if you want these things to work. And I'm talking about internet games where you're playing with other players. So that's one way of setting it on a very specific basis. If you have it on maximum, you have to do that. Now if we put it to medium, allows other computers to communicate, dangerous or unrecognized incoming or outgoing connection trigger warnings. If we bump it down to low, provides the same protection as medium but fewer warnings, only incoming connections that might pose a danger trigger warnings. Just enough protection to safeguard your computer without firewall getting in your way. And if we bring it down to medium, allows other computers to communicate while protecting you from obvious dangers, will only block network protocols, apps, or ports that you have specified. So minimum ensures that your personal firewall will rarely, if ever, slow you down. So my recommendation, if something is not working, is to bring this up or down. If you find it's too insecure, put it up to medium. If you find that something you're trying to do is not working, you can either click up here to turn off the firewall and then try it again. You'll know if it's a firewall issue or not. Or you can bring it down low, click OK, and then try it once again. So in my situation, I'll just have it on medium, which is Trend Micro's recommendation. I click OK. The main issue with the firewall is that it may block things you're actually trying to do. Otherwise, it shouldn't give you a problem. People run into this when they try to play internet games, like I'm mentioning, where you're playing other people across the internet. Or if you're trying to do networking, like you're trying to print on the network or share files on the network, and that's where the firewall comes in. So as I was saying before, you can click it off and then basically try it again. I recommend you turn off the personal firewall, reboot your computer, and then test whatever you're trying to do once again. And if you find that it makes no difference, you can turn the personal firewall back on. Network connection status, the only time you'd need to do this is if you're in a big hurry and you want to shut down the network as far as this computer is concerned. Disable your computer's connection to the internet. So if you know this computer is infecting, causing all kinds of problems, this would be the network cutoff switch. Trend Micro does rarely turn off your computer if it's really causing problems, and this would be the section to check. And you would have the ability to turn it off by going into this network connection status section. and that is the Personal Firewall Controls section of Trend Micro Internet Security.